Are you sure you don't have to have a Gmail?
I mean, oh, the Gmail? No, I don't think so, dude.
Are you sure?
I, I mean, I doubt it. Crazy. Is it Crazy Dynamite at what?
No. Check the chat.
Oh, and in chat dijiste Val. That's true.
See.
Fuck, my bad. My bad. Where the fuck did I leave it? I have all these tabs open. Oh, wait. So, copy link address. And new email. To. What the fuck? Why isn't it letting me? Luis Roalcazar at live.com. Okay. To Luis at live.com. Okay. Let me get the fucking live stream thing. Copy link. Here. Okay. Ya se lo mandé a ese man. Oh shit!
Oh wait, is that it?
Oh.
Oh, that's it. Oh my God! Finally.
I know, Jesus. I had to
Oh.
look through various email folders.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Are we good?
Glad you
Alrighty.
got it, fam. Glad you fucking got it. Okay, chill. Damn, Luis, I hope you're ready, bro. I hope you're
Ready.
fucking ready, cuz.
Good.
I hope you're ready, boy.
I'm semi-ready because I'm also currently watching the Golden Globes.
Oh shit. Okay. Well,
Va a estar así como que,
if you're not ready, you're gonna get blasted from the back.
Bring it. Let's see what's up.
All right. Huh.
How many times did you see the movie, Luis?
What movie?
Last Jedi?
Oh, I saw it twice.
Oh, okay. So you have your convictions ready. Like your mind is clear about this film, right?
My mind is clear. My buttocks is smooth.
Okay, good.
Your mind is clear. You know what's going on. Okay.
Oye, apúrale.
Chill. Because I'm... Okay. All right. Awesome. So, let me see. Now I need to... Ah, shit. All right.
Did I tell you about the podcast that I'm making? No, you were talking. Okay.
Okay, so you guys can all... There, right?
Yes.
See, wait.
All right.
Are you in your room?
Let me see. Bandwidth... Who, me?
Am I in my room?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have to, because my phone is on, what, 9%?
Oh, weren't you going to Juarez?
I went into Juarez real quick
And then
to
you
go see
dipped.
my grandma.
You dipped right away.
Okay. And then, Luis?
And then I got right out of there. Yeah, I used my Linea Express. Thank God that I still have it. And
dude, that's a lifesaver, dude.
It is. So I came straight back here, and that's when you messaged me to get the thing, and here I am.
Okay.
All right.
God damn, I'm next to this lamp. I'm gonna sit down.
Dude, what the fuck? Why is YouTube being dumb right now?
Why don't we just record it like right here?
Yeah, we can fucking record it right here. Let me see. Go on the YouTube app, both of you, and see if you can find it.
All right.
Fine. What?
Just this live stream,
Here, I'll do
Booth
it.
Entertainment Weekly
Espérame.
on YouTube. If you guys can
Yes,
find
it's
it,
on, it's on, it's on. It's on.
yeah,
We're
okay,
live.
cool. All right, yeah, we can just record from now, and then I'll edit it and cut it off.
Okay, bueno, está bien.
I'm pretty sure that's possible.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, cool. All right, so 2, 1, and right about now, we have not been live in a long while now. We were live, I believe, last year.
Yeah.
As of an actual podcast, we have not done it, at least not here on the channel. And some of the other tech kids recorded a Last Jedi review, but last year we did a Force Awakens review for like 4 videos in a row. They were all like an hour and 30 minutes, so it got the love it deserved, the hate it deserved, whatever. We're about to do an impressions, more review between 2 of the people, or between all 3 of us, I guess, which is Mr. Luis. How are you, Luis? Thank you for joining us today.
I am very well, thank you. Thanks for inviting me on this. It's been a long ass time.
It has been a long ass time. But I think you're, by the way, right now I'm gonna say it right now, and I'll get to you, Carla, in just a second. But viewer discretion advised, because there's gonna be a lot of involved here, and that's because we're passionate, not because we're trying to spread bad vibes or bad messaging or anything. But okay, with that said, we have Carlo. How are you doing today?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Like SpongeBob.
Hi, how are you?
Well, I'm very happy to have both of you here. I'm super glad because on the light, one of you guys is on the dark, and that's more than what we need. That's actually exactly what we need right now, because there's a lot to talk about. I do have some of most notes myself, but Carlo earlier was telling me that he had some notes himself to talk about for this show, and there's quite a lot to talk about. There's good things, bad things, little things, nitpicking things, general things, story things, plot hole things. It's all sorts of crazy. So,
Get into
Carlo,
it.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us your first one, Carlo?
Okay, so first impressions. This has to relate to the overall feeling of leaving the theater for the first time after watching Last Jedi. Now, so it's like when everyone first saw Force Awakens, I don't think a lot of people gave it the I don't think a lot of people hated it as much until later, because as like more time passed, they sort of had more time to think about it, and then they were like, you know what, this movie wasn't probably as good as I thought it was, because there was that nostalgia effect that was still left in their brains when they left the theater. I think that's true with this movie still, because what I'm gonna say is that they hyped up Force Awakens, and when everyone finished watching it, everyone said that they loved it. And a lot of people still loved it, but a lot of people also later on, kind of started to grasp the movie a little bit better, and they were able to identify the things that they didn't like, and which led to a lot of people, including myself to an extent, to say that Force Awakens was basically the same plot line as Episode 4. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. I'm just gonna say it because I thought it. Last Jedi, kind of has the same plot points as Episode 5, but a lot of people will not admit it because they still have that, nostalgia fresh on their minds. But you're gonna watch later in like a year, people are gonna say, you know what, Last Jedi was like Episode 5. And then you know what's gonna happen? Episode 9 is gonna come out and it's gonna be the exact same as Episode 6.
Okay. Luis, what do you have to say to that?
Well, as much as I do somewhat agree to the points of episode 7 being very much like episode 4, which let's be clear that it is, I don't necessarily agree that episode 8 is necessarily a rehash or exactly the same as episode 4. But I would say that it borrows a lot of things from each episode in the original trilogy, such as when they were going into Snoke's throne room. That very much is a reference in episode 6 from Return of the Jedi when they were both going to see the Emperor. And in episode 5, merely it's just a similarity simply because of the last scene with those AT-ATs, and simply it's because like it's the middle of a trilogy. That's how I see it.
No.
Hold on, you had your piece.
Can I?
You had your piece.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm getting my notes ready.
I don't have my notes ready. My notes are in here. All right.
Write down notes as someone else is talking, Luis. That way you'll.
All my notes are in my brain.
You'll have
to. And plus I can't write whilst having a phone because I'm holding on. I can only have one hand.
Okay, that's understandable. Yeah, okay.
Basically, I can see that to an sort of extent, and I can see how some fans coming out of episode 7 were slightly disappointed because of how so similar it was to the original trilogy, mainly to episode 4, and I can completely understand that. But I don't see the nostalgia factor for going into episode 8. Calm your ass, dude.
I just want to ask, you keep saying episode 4. How is it related to episode 4?
Episode 4. I said episode 7 is related to episode 4. I'm saying
no, but then you said episode 8 is also coming. Like people are making similarities to episode 4.
That's what I've heard. I'm not saying that like what I'm saying.
Who's gonna come out of Last Jedi and think this is like episode 4?
Nigga, I'm making my points. I let you speak. Jesus Christ. All right. So what I'm saying is that coming out of episode 7, of course, they were saying that it was a lot like episode 4 and they wanted something new, something refreshing. And I found going episode 8 to be completely different in a story sort of sense. And yes, it does have some senses, some variations of the original trilogy, very much as how the prequel trilogy was in very much sense somewhat very close to the original trilogy, but no one bat an eye because that trilogy had its own set of problems. But I found this trilogy to somewhat like it brought up the original trilogy, and at the same time it said like basically the entire theme of episode 8 was that we need to let the past die and then go forward with the future in a sort of sense. But I can see some of its problems, but I don't get the nostalgia factor because in a sort of nostalgia factor, I just don't understand.
Okay, by the nostalgia factor, I mean that
7, but not episode 8, because episode 8, that you would see all the problems that you would have in episode 7. The nostalgia argument would work with episode 7, but not with episode 8.
Okay, no. The nostalgia factor, I mean in the sense that it clouds their judgment to view the film on a constructive level. That's what I mean. That it clouds their judgment. That it's like it's too heights for them to look at it in a negative way. That's what I mean.
I would agree with the clouding their judgment, but it's not a nostalgia factor. That's just simply fandom. That's just simply being a Star Wars fandom.
Yeah, fandom. That it's
nostalgia.
Like,
that's totally different. But okay. I mean, like, no doubt about it that this movie is very, very mixed, and that just brings me back to many decades ago when Empire Strikes Back was first released. That movie, the same had the same reaction. It also had mixed reactions, and then years later, it was hailed as one of the greatest Star Wars. It's the greatest Star Wars movie. I'm not saying that Last Jedi is going to be hailed as the greatest Star Wars movie, better than Empire, because Empire is still the best Star Wars movie ever made. But for this trilogy alone, it is better than Force Awakens. It is by far the most pivotal part of the Star Wars saga, and when it comes to themes and story and character. And I don't know, because like we live in a time where everyone is like going to be all nitpicky and like in depth about everything. But come in time, like many years from now, they're going to look back at this film and they're going to change their minds about something.
So currently you have this as a 4.5. You stick to that?
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So what I it's so hard because
work this out chronologically.
Yes. Okay. So overall, as far as original trilogy, prequels. Let's look at them as the three different type of trilogies. Even though essentially we still haven't gotten the last one of this one, but from the original trilogy to the prequel trilogy to this trilogy, I think there has been some difference to them. Of course, just being the best ones, but the extent of where I agree to that, people are going to be nitpicky and people are going to, bitch about certain things and be like, oh, you know what? Well, this is fucked up, or oh, I didn't like this, or oh, this didn't turn out the way I wanted it to be. And that's fine. The way I saw an article the other day, which made 100,000 sense. And it was the way that all the trilogies, essentially, they weren't all written right. I wouldn't say like right one after the other. They all had some sort of cohesive. This is where it starts. This is where it ends by the third movie type of thing. And in this trilogy, they sort of just J.J. Abrams, you write, you direct, then pass on the throne, pass on the baton for whoever else is coming afterwards. They write their story. Then whoever they pick after to the next movie, then they write the story from where the other guy left off. So I feel like they're bouncing off from one another. They're not giving it to, like, let's say for example, okay, so episode 7 is gonna be about this. Episode 8 is gonna tie into with this, and episode 9 is gonna end the whole story from the first movie of the trilogy to the middle one to the very last one. Mm-hmm. They're just pretty much just sort of writing the first one, finishing it, bounce to the next guy. Write it, finish it, bounce to the next guy. So what I find The Last Jedi so controversial is because what J.J. Abrams did, a lot of the things he wrote or not write, or the things he directed, some of the details that he put in there, from Knights of Ren to Snoke to Luke's parents to Luke at the very end, all of those factors, all of those scenes, all of those important things stay in people's heads pretty much for 2 years. So it leaves people wondering what's going to happen next. And when the new guy comes in, and it's not already written, but he's writing it right off the bat, brand new written, he's just jumping ship pretty much. So if anything is erased, they're all like, oh, well, J.J. Abrams did that over there, but I don't want to do that now in this direction or whatever. And there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that we don't know, of course. Not everything's Rian Johnson's fault. Maybe the death of Snoke was someone else's idea or something. I don't fucking know. But there's a lot of things, because what if, what sucks for J.J. Abrams is that next, for episode 9, he's gonna come in and try to clean Johnson's mess up, or try to smooth it out, smooth out the edges, polish it more, and be like, you know what, Kylo was lying. You know what, Rey's parents are someone. You know what, Leia is sort of dying already. You know what I mean? So it could be like a combination of things where I hate the fact that the only thing that scares me when I saw this movie is the first thing that I was like, okay, is Rian Johnson directing it? Fine, I don't care. Whoever can direct it, wants to direct it, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna enjoy it. It's Star Wars, whatever. But when I finished the movie and I saw the direction it was going into, I got genuinely fucking scared, because I said, this is weird. This is really weird. I wouldn't have cared if it would have. I don't want the movie to go the way I want it to. I would have wanted for Rey to turn to the dark side and kick ass with Kylo Ren. Of course, it's not going to happen. But and the other things that I did want to happen didn't happen. And I'm fine with it. But the fact that they're writing it from ship to ship and just jumping from director to director and everybody's writing their own stories, that's what I have a problem with. And with Johnson getting a new trilogy by himself, I want this nigga to write it from beginning to end. I don't want it to be, you know, I'm gonna go here and then I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna do this. Write it as a trilogy and make it as a trilogy, not one after the other, one after the other. You see how beautiful Lord of the Rings movies are, just because of the fact how long they took to make those bastards, and they came out to be a beautiful masterpiece. But then Hobbit came along, and of course, rushing it out and rushing it out, and
those
shit happened.
Those were books before witten.
There were books,
half a century ago.
And they were good. I love.
They were good.
Actually as compared to Star Wars, I like Lord of the Rings more because that's the first fandom I got into. But that's pretty much the only thing that I had a problem with as far as like story and plot wise goes. Like I don't like the fact that they're jumping from director to director and everybody's writing their own piece, and then we lose writers and get new writers in and all this other stuff. We have to do reshoots and everything. So I don't want to think there's a mess going up on Disney or LucasArts, but it sort of seems like it's sort of, but
I completely understand the reaction from that, and I totally get it. When I heard that Abrams was coming back to direct Episode 9, the thing that came to my head was that this trilogy is going to go into a massive shift. It went from like it started off with a somewhat light tone, and then went down to like a dark abyss with Episode 8, and who knows what's going to go with Episode 9. But the thing that I know not for a fact, but for somewhat a large portion of, is that by far next to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Star Wars is one of Disney's like prized possessions. They're gonna take care of it. They're gonna make sure it's gonna set off in the right direction, and of course, they're gonna make sure it's gonna make sense. And I know for a fact they want it to make like a great flow as possible. But I can totally understand the how it's gonna go. But as a film, as Last Jedi, as a film on its own, I thought it's great on how it's like how it shifts tone from like just being like a regular like sci-fi adventure for like somewhat kids to like being like, all right, we're getting serious here. This is like some serious shit.
And that's fine. Yeah, I don't have a problem with the direction they're taking. There's so many people that confuse the plot into the direction Star Wars is going. The way it's going, I don't care where it goes. I could give two fucks where it goes. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm gonna in episode 9, they're like, "Oh, you bitch about Star Wars, but you're gonna go watch it." You bet your ass I'm gonna go watch the fucking next one. You know what I mean? And the one after that. And
we're fans. We're fans.
But exactly. And like I said, I don't have a problem with what they're going. I just, whatever the hell they're doing, wherever they're going with it, be coherent. I want it to make sense. I want to know why this person is here, where he came from, not necessarily a certain specific character, but if a little detail comes up, if a little subplot comes along or something like that, like I want it all to make sense. That's really all I want it for. If Luke wants to die, if Leia dies in the next movie, if they make Kylo Ren like worse than Vader or whatever, I don't care. Whatever they make, I just want it to make sense. That's all I want it for. What do you think?
Understandable. And I think the reason why we give the original trilogy so much credit is because, well, for one, it's the original trilogy. It's going to be the greatest that ever is and ever was. But we look at back now because we see it as a whole. It's a trilogy as a whole. I'm pretty sure, like, people when Episode 5 came along and like our parents when they were our age, they were probably freaking out as well. I'm pretty sure. But I mean, I don't know. I'm optimistic. We'll see how it goes. I mean, 10 years from now, when we see the trilogy as a whole, we're going to probably look back at it and be like, remember when we were freaking out? I mean, who knows?
Yeah, that's
it might
right.
be warranted. It might not be.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I can say for the future of this sequel trilogy is we'll just have to wait and see how it ends. But so far, I like what I see. It has me a little worried on how it concludes, but I like what I see.
Okay, I agree with Jordan. I think J.J. Abrams is going to come into episode 9 cleaning up the mess that episode 8 created. And I already know how episode 9 is going to go down because as we see, episode 7 took
Mark this down. Mark this down. This is official.
Yes. Well, I mean, in 2 years.
You said that you already know how it's gonna go down, so this is your words.
Yes, and I'm sticking to it. So,
all right, let's see what happens.
As we saw, okay, hold up. I'm about to drop some logical reasoning with y'all. So, as we saw with episode 7, we can see that it's a completely movie of its own, right? Mm-hmm. So, but later on, we look at it and we're like, hold up. This is essentially episode 4. It's not episode 4, but it's got a lot of similarities to episode 4 in terms of how its storyline. Jump.
Are you talking about how episode 8 is episode 4 or episode 7 is episode 4?
Episode 7 is like episode 4. We're jumping to episode 7. It's got a pretty good amount of similarities to episode 5. Okay, now, do you want me to get into the specifics of how they relate, what the similarities are?
You can
go for it.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay. So, episode 7 starts out with Rey. She's Luke. Okay. They basically have the same, like they're peasants, is what they are, right? And throughout the movie, they develop this character art that leaves them to be the heroes at the end. Okay, so basically they're the same. Episode 8 has the same similarities as episode 5 in the sense that Kylo Ren basically wants to be Darth Vader, and he basically is begging Rey to join his side because they together can rule the galaxy alone. They don't need anyone else. They could do it themselves. Right? Now, this is how I'm telling you how episode 9 is going to go down.
All right.
Episode 9, it's obvious that Kylo Ren is going to turn to the good side. I might be wrong because I'm not Nostradamus, but I'm saying it's highly likely that it will happen. Seeing the movie, this new trilogy has taken a lot from the originals. They're not creating their own unique characters. They're taking the same characters from the original trilogy and placing them into the new ones. Yes, the story is new, but not the characters, and that's my biggest pet peeve with this new trilogy is that they're the same characters rebranded as these, and they're telling you, no, these characters are unique. How? Oh, because she's a woman. Okay, but she's essentially Luke. And it's like, no, because he's part of the Skywalker family. Yes, but he's basically Darth Vader. And it's going to go down in episode 9 as the same way that episode 6 ended. You know? It might not be from Rey, or it might, but Kylo Ren is going to turn to the light side, and because they have to conclude the story, and they're going to conclude the entire Star Wars canon with episode 9. It's going to be the biggest thing to go down.
Of course.
So that's what I mean when J.J. Abrams has to clean the mess, because it's his responsibility to make sure that it ends as a good film.
And of course. But here's the thing, though. In episode 6, there was a big villain, of course, that being the Emperor. But now that Snoke is gone, the new supreme leader would be obviously Kylo Ren. And I don't think, I mean, I might be like you, I might be wrong because I'm not Nostradamus. I don't think that Kylo Ren would turn to the light side. I genuinely think he's gonna stay in the dark side, because after he completely kills Snoke, I absolutely think that's like his because in the Sith lore, the only way that a Sith apprentice can be a Sith master is when the apprentice kills the master. And that he finally done that, his training is finally complete, thus making him a Sith master.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that, and I'm gonna be real with you. I must say that Kylo Ren is by far the most interesting character, more than Darth Vader. And even though Darth Vader is iconic and everything, because yes, he's the most iconic villain because he's from the original trilogy, but you only bought him as like a big villain because that was how he was introduced, as a generic
Hi, how are you?
evil guy. But
I'm looking at your brother behind you.
Oh. But Kylo Ren, he's an actual character. He has like struggles. You see him that like he's like human and everything, and that's why I think that it's something like he is technically a somewhat rehash of Darth Vader because he wears a helmet, of course, whatever. But in terms of like character development and character as a whole, he's by far the most interesting.
So let me ask you, Luis. So when you saw the film, and when Rey and Kylo Ren had just finished beating up all those guards, which was a fantastic scene because, I mean,
it was orgasmic.
Yes.
It was amazing.
I mean,
So
it's the only lightsaber scene in the whole fucking...
Hold up. So, Luis, so when you saw that scene, when Kylo Ren is basically,
co-opting
giving Rey
with
the opportunity to go against the Empire or the First Order or whatever to rule the galaxy like as by themselves, that didn't register you as Episode 5.
But here's the thing, that this movie, what it does so successfully, in my opinion, is that it like gives you expectations, and it then like it completely goes in a different direction.
Yes,
like,
but that's like, not what I asked you. What I asked you was like, did you not look at that and say this is kind of like Episode 5? Yes or no?
At which part? I'm sorry. When
he asked her to join him. When he asked her to join him.
Yes, when he asked Rey to join him, that they could rule the galaxy without the First Order. You didn't think of that as Episode 5?
Yeah, but that also happened in Episode 2.
There's my point.
That also happens in Episode 2, so I can't really say that, like, I mean, going back on what George Lucas said, and you might eye roll at this, but basically the whole saga is basically poetry.
It rhymes.
That's how I view it, because this is the creator we're talking about, and we might like fucking to the prequels, but nonetheless, he gave us the goats, the original one.
So with that argument, if it rhymes, if you're basically playing out the same storyline, where does originality come from?
With how you do it. It's basically how you do it. Like, there are going to be some themes that are somewhat similar, but it's how you play them.
Okay, well, I presented my arguments on how the characters are basically a rehash of the original ones, and they lack a certain tone of originality, but that's just my viewpoint.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because I think they're, you can see the rehash. Not that you can see it, but you see Rey, and who do you see? You see Kylo, who do you see?
Yeah.
You see Finn, who do you see? You know what I mean? So that's not the obvious.
I think that's the only inevitable.
It's that's inevitable. Right, and exactly, and you know what I mean. I don't blame it for that, because I sort of saw it coming. You know what I mean? And when I saw Episode 7, I was like, "There's gonna have to be a new Luke Vader.
Yeah,
there's gonna have to be
when it comes to like a sequel."
That's right,
anything,
and I don't mean to like bash it for that.
The worst picture for your story.
I'll take another one. Like what I mean is that, like, since they lack originality, I agree to him to an extent, because when I was seeing The Last Jedi, I felt like every time that there was a character and there was an opportunity for the character to be different, you know what I mean? When I saw Finn about to fucking make a suicide and save everybody right there and everything,
I thought he was gonna die.
Shit. I was like, hell yes.
I think
you know what I mean? And I was like, I want you to die, not to be a
me too. I legit thought it would be a good thing if he died.
I was like, hell yeah, this nigga's gonna die. Yeah. Then Rose comes in, and I'm like, anyways. Then when Kylo and they were talking about earlier, Kylo tells Rey, "Join me." You have no idea how much I was sweating, dude. I was like, I swear to God, I don't care if anything is a fucking rehash. Do something to a fucking extent right here. But then my mind was telling me Disney's not gonna do that. She's a good guy and all this bullshit. But you know how badass it would have been if she would have fucking joined him and then maybe like started some sort of
That
conflict
would have
against him.
turned
Like
the entire trilogy
been,
into something different. You talk about episode 8 being different. No, if Rey had been dark side, that would have been like fucking.
My whole point. Because look,
episode 5 of this generation, like, but no, they didn't. Instead, they went the same route at episode 5. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly, because you would have been like, oh shit, now she's joining, so now she's sort of not.
Now, what else are they gonna do?
And then exactly. So then, if those things that give you that sense of oh my god, like fucking DJ Benicio del Toro's character, when he was gonna do this, you thought he was gonna do this, but then he didn't. You're just like, oh shit, and you know it's whatever. And I did want him to be a stand-up more. I love the guy, but it's sort of like
Toro's character to be more.
Yeah,
honestly.
like and Phasma, I wanted that bitch to kick some ass. I wanted to see her killing niggas.
Here's the comparison that I make with Phasma is that like we all see her as like supposedly a badass, but I would say that you can compare her a lot more with what Boba Fett did
fucking
in the original
Greedo.
trilogy and now it's canon. Boba Fett would like. Everyone would say like Boba Fett is like a badass, but he hardly did anything. But at least Captain Phasma did something. But granted,
yeah, no, I
never
thought of Phasma as like a bad. She just looks like a badass, and they present her to us as a badass. You know what I mean? They're like, here's fucking Phasma with the chrome like armor, and she does this and she talks shit and she gives commands and orders and all this and whatever. So, you know, they present her to her as a badass. So I'm going to look at her as a badass. And she doesn't do badass things. Of course, I'm going to bitch about it because I want to see them. But that doesn't mean that, you know, if she would have died, kill her in episode 9. Like, fucking, at least save her for one goddamn movie. They were like, oh, Captain Phasma is redeemable in this movie in interviews and shit. Bullshit. She was not redeemable. Like, just because she actually had a fight that she lost, I don't think so. Like, I don't count that as redeemable. Like, come on. I personally, dude, literally, probably the guy that fucking fought Finn in the first movie, the traitor guy with the fucking you know what I mean? Yes, with the band, that nigga had probably more fucking airtime than this bitch did. But you know, I don't see why they would do something like that. You know, she has her own fucking book now. Like, how do you do that to someone and then be like, here's a book just in case you weren't satisfied for it? Like, like,
that's exactly what they did with Boba Fett as well.
But
exactly, and
Boba Fett had
weird,
like character development though.
I just don't.
But you don't really see him. The only reason that he has legit character development
is in episode 2
of the fucking prequels.
Yeah,
like, the prequels. But I'm talking about in the original trilogy.
Yeah, like I don't mind that. Like what happens to them happens to them. I don't give a fuck. But I'm just saying that the way it happens to them.
Yeah.
Of course.
You know what I mean? It's I don't know. It's weird. Okay. Like I just as weird as I saw the fucking Emperor getting thrown out in the original trilogies, that was fucking weird and dumb. And just as I saw Snoke getting killed, that was weird and dumb. Oh. Like how y'all like I can't cope with these things because I'm so used to, you know, how can I say this? You're so used to if something gets hyped up for you, you see it, you savor it, you hype it, you know, you crave it for 2 fucking years in this case, and you're just like, okay, you know what I mean? You sort of take it in, you know, you process it, and you watch the movie one more time, if anything, you know what I mean? But it's I don't know, it's like it's something that you're expecting to see, and it's another problem that this movie had that a lot of people were like, you know what? I wanted to see fucking Kylo do this, and I wanted to see Rey do this, and you know, obviously not everybody's gonna get their piece of the cake, but that should have happened. I liked a lot of the concepts from Last Jedi. What I didn't like was the execution. The execution was weird. Like Last Jedi has so many cool shit in it, so many dope shit concepts in it, like that subplot, the fucking Admiral Holdo, like.
The
Poe,
random like disappearance of
Rose,
DJ, all that
like
shit.
yes, so
Honestly,
much shit. It has so much shit.
I thought instead of Commander or General Holdo taking control of the
Vice
ship
Admiral. Mm-hmm.
and sacrificing herself, I thought it somewhat would have been better if Leia had done it, and that way, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I wanted her to die. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna front. Like I wanted her. Really did want, and this is gonna piss some people off, but what I really did want, because a lot of the people that I talked to, they all loved the Leia scene using the Force, whatever. That was fine with me. I didn't give a fuck. It was weird, but I don't care. But when I saw that Kylo was about to shoot her, and in the fucking bridge, I wanted her to shoot her. You know what I mean? I wanted to throw 15 bombs at that. You know what I mean? Like, rest in peace. I love her and everything, but something like that and be like, yes, I am a bad guy. Yes, I killed my dad and my mom. Yes, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted him to show that to the audience, to be like, I did just already kill my dad in the last movie. Now I'm gonna kill my mom, and I'm gonna kill Snoke too. Fuck with me. You know what I mean? And when I saw, dude, even Akbar got an off-screen death. Like, who the fuck? Like, well, the people, you give Akbar a fucking
rest in
Admiral Akbar. Like, how do you? I'm sorry, that was weird. Why would you do like my nigga Akbar like that? You know what I mean? Like, that's weird. But it was, I don't know. I wanted her to die in a way, and like Louis said, like, instead of it being Holdo sacrificing herself, it would have been Leia to be like, no, you know what? My time has come. I'm gonna do something worth it for the Resistance. Fucking drive the ship right through it. That would have been so badass, because Holdo did it, and I was like, do I really care about you? Like, I just saw it like 2 minutes ago.
Okay. I don't know. I liked her.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't dislike her, but they're like, oh, she's like, oh, I'm gonna do it because I'm this and everything. I'm like, I'm pretty sure in the story you are, but to us, we don't know you that well. Granted. It was like, it was weird, and I don't know.
Okay, so can we start chronologically now?
From episode 1?
No, from the movie, from episode 8.
No, from episode 8. Like the things that we liked and didn't dislike.
Or do you guys have anything else to say before we do?
No. Let's get started on that right away.
Okay. So, as I said to Jordan before you got here, Luis, I know a lot of the things that may sound like it's nitpicking. It's nitpicking because we're right. Okay? So, with one of those things, I gotta say, how the hell? Now, okay, I understand that it's a sci-fi movie and like Leia is floating through fucking space using the Force. Like, okay, right? Like there's gonna be no law of whatever happening in space. But still, how the hell, when they're dropping the bombs, does gravity work in space when they're dropping?
Nigga, I mean, I don't know. Watch like the previous 7 Star Wars
so
movies,
you be saying
all the shit that's happening.
Yeah.
Like.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
like,
fine. I just wanted to point that. I just wanted to point that out. Yeah. Okay.
Like, when I saw that movie, I'm like, should that really be happening? But then I remember all the other shit that has happened in the other movies, and I'm like, whatever.
Okay.
It don't matter.
Like, I just wanted to point that out. Now, the next thing.
Go for it.
Leia. I legit thought that Leia's, when she gets blasted into space, I thought that was like her actual moment where her character dies off. I thought it was like hella I thought it was hella early, but I was like, it makes sense because she's dead. But now and then they had like that whole sequence, which was super weird. Of her like deciding to save herself, basically. It just leaves me wondering, like, how the hell are they gonna kill her off in episode 9? Because did Carrie Fisher film episode 9?
No, there is no.
So what are they gonna do? Are they gonna do like some
what they're thinking? What I've heard that they're gonna do is they're supposedly gonna set up a resistance base somewhere else, and then they're gonna do like she's gonna give orders to like the other like let's say for example Ray, Finn, and Poe. They're in another outpost or whatever. She's gonna be on a hologram, like talking to them. Of course, they can CGI her. She's hologram. Um, and she's just gonna be somewhere else, like not appear through the movie, probably like once or twice, stuff like that.
Okay.
I've heard differently. I've heard that they weren't gonna CGI her at all because that's an official thing that I heard, that they weren't gonna use that. There's not an official script yet because they're barely starting it. And the only thing that would make sense in my point of view, because episode 8 takes place immediately after episode 7, so I think episode 9 is going to take place sometime after episode 8, maybe like a while. And that, who knows, it might start off with a funeral for Leia. I don't know.
Everyone would be so disappointed. Like, you have no idea how disappointed everyone would be right off the bat if they did that.
Everyone would be disappointed, but I mean, I don't know
so this is what
how they're going to do it.
This is what I mean when I say that J.J. Abrams has to clean up the shit that episode 8 created.
It's also kind of not, it's not like episode 8's fault for, what's it face, like Carrie Fisher dying unexpectedly.
No, but okay.
Look, yes, the only reason why I don't think, like, you know, it's obviously that's, you know, more than
no, but they could have had the chance. They could have fucking had the chance to kill him off though. Like that, no, Jordan, yes, like fucking Kylo Ren, like he had this, like, if they see that Carrie Fisher died, that they should have been like, well, you know what? We have the footage of Kylo Ren deciding whether or not to shoot her. Why don't we make the movie make sense and have her killed when Kylo Ren shoots the spaceship? You know,
because like her character is still like in very important scenes that make the whole movie flow. If you take all those scenes out, everything's gonna seem jumbled. You're gonna have to spend even more money on reshoots, and it's gonna, like, they're
at the expense of episode 9 being a good film, though, is what I'm saying.
But again, we can't even say that for a fact if we haven't if we don't even know how it's gonna look like, how we haven't even seen any footage.
Okay.
I mean, we haven't even seen the movie. We're just basing off on speculation.
Okay. When we see episode 9, we gotta return back to this. But now,
moving on.
What's next? I was gonna go into Rose, but I think we should talk about Snoke.
Let's not go into Rose yet because no, just kidding.
So,
yeah, we can go into Snoke. First thing about Snoke, listen, it's so weird, you know. I don't personally. I've read books of Star Wars. I've played games of Star Wars. I've watched shows of Star Wars, Clone Wars and Rebels. And you know, it's every time you see a villain, they treat it differently everywhere. You know, books, comics, shows, games, everywhere. That's fine. Movies, that's fine. But it's very go back to square one. It's inconsistent as to how I feel like they made Snoke be or feel or even be presented to in the audience, because in Force Awakens we see him and he's, you know, I'm not saying like he's big, but he's menacing. He's, you know what, we're gonna finish your training, you know what, I'm pissed, this shit's happening. Right off the bat at the beginning of episode 8, he gets pissed at Hux. What does he do? Fucking turn him around and uses the Force and everything, and he gets mad or whatever. You see him as this, you know, this menacing force, this bad guy, this villain, and people are like, oh, you know what, he's a good villain, he's fine, like he doesn't need a lot of character development. People don't need to know where he comes from, you know. People don't really know where the Emperor comes from, which is a fact. As far as movies go, when the first movies came out, you know, nobody was in episode 5 or even episode 6 saying, oh, where the fuck did he come from? I'm so mad that they didn't release, you know, his origins or whatever, because even in the prequel trilogies, we technically don't know where he really comes from. So that's fine. I don't care. I don't really care where he comes from. Like, some people are like, he's an origin of the Force of the Apprentice. I don't give a fuck. Whatever he wants to be, he can be whatever. What I care about is here and now. So with that being said, it's odd to me that they decided to show him, and, you know, he looks, I personally, I love the way the room that he set up in, very minimalistic. Not a lot of fucking technology going on except for that little hourglass look into outer space type of shit, live stream going on in outer space. But it's very minimalistic. It's very, you know, simple. He's dressed very simple as well. He doesn't really have like a lot of shit to show off or whatever. It's just his guards, which are very badass, by the way. And when you see him at the end revealing everything about, I connected you and Ray, and and nobody can betray me, and nobody can do this, and nobody can whatever, which is, again, we've seen this episode 5, and that's fine. I don't care, but it was when I saw Kylo thing like the lightsaber, and something was running through my mind, and I said, "What the fuck? What the fuck is he doing? What the fuck?" Honestly, I didn't see it coming, which is dope as fuck. But he was doing it, and I was just like, "Oh shit, he's gonna direct it." But then I was like, immediately, I was like, "Nope, fucking Snoke is gonna be like, Nick, what do you think you're doing?" Like, nope, fucking, force lightning his ass back again or something. You know what I mean? I can read you, I can feel you, I can, and then I was like, nah. I was like, nah, he missed. Or I was like, he missed. Or he got his hand or something. You know what I mean? So what I was expecting when he was turning the lightsaber, that he was going to hit his hand, like barely catch it in time type of thing, and then move the lightsaber, and it was just going to catch his hand, rip his hand off or whatever. He would have gotten pissed. Kylo versus Snoke versus the guards, and fucking, it would have been crazy. But I saw him kill him, and I was like, okay. And then so fucking fast, he died. They fought the guards, and then immediately join me. And then Ray's just like, no. And then Hux comes in, and they talk, and they're like, okay, I'm the Supreme Leader now.
That's right.
So, dude, that was so fast. Like, I can't fathom how fast that shit was. Like, this guy killed him, killed his guards, into someone, made himself the leader, and dipped. You know what I mean? Nothing. Like, they didn't even. I don't know. Like, it was just odd to me. Like, it did make sense, but when I saw it, I felt like there was something missing from those scenes. That whole sequence, there was something missing. I don't know what.
Okay, so I was gonna say that I just think it's funny how in episode 7 they made Snoke to be the new emperor. Like, this is the big bad guy that's gonna play out in all 3 films. And then you're telling me that in episode 8 he has all the power. He can stop Rey, because Rey, we know, is cunning. We know she's able to, like, think quick and do everything and stuff like that. But he's powerful enough to stop her. So you're telling me that he wasn't powerful enough to foresee the lightsaber clog his side? He wasn't smart
And
enough.
look, and here's somebody that would counter argument you to that, because I've seen it happen in other podcasts and reviews, that they're like, well, Miguel being one of them, Miguel not showing up because he knew I was gonna roast his ass. Just kidding.
Yeah.
But he was like, that's just how powerful Kylo is. Hold on. Okay. Wait. I'm like, wait. And then there's some people that also say the exact same thing, that are like, Rey doesn't need lightsaber training. She's powerful with the Force, so the Force just fucking gave it to her in her head. And it's,
what about Luke?
And it's weird. Like, I don't know. Like, it's odd that, a person this powerful, that's supposedly, they're like, he is no Sith, but he has all the power in the darkness. It says in the visual dictionary and whatnot. There's all these things that lead you up to thinking the most badass, the most, menacing force of nature out there. And, people are like, oh, you didn't get what you wanted in this movie. Well, no, listen, if you give me a cake, I'm going to think it's strawberry and grab it and eat it like it's strawberry. And if it's not, I'm going to be like, well, what the fuck? So that's sort of how I see that. They give you Snoke, and they're like, listen, this is who this guy is. This is what he does. This is his pupil. He wants to manipulate him or whatever. And we get him, and he just gets killed fast. And then people are like, you're just mad it's different. I'm not mad it's different. I'm mad that there wasn't even a fight for, like, he didn't even put up a fight, like, anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's odd. Like, it's weird. And I know that people are like, well, comparing it to the Emperor, well, okay, let's make it different. You know what I mean? Let's make it different. We didn't even see the Emperor fight until literally the prequels. And we had to make they had to wait how many years for that to be even fucking made. And even then, he didn't really fight a lot other than fucking Yoda and Mace Windu a little bit or whatever. I was gonna be like, you know what? Okay, let's not make it Emperor Palpatine. Let's fucking have him fight. Let's have him dodge like the lightsaber or whatever. Fucking get up and try to kick their asses. And I wouldn't care if he would have lost because if
At
these
least
two
he would have
people
put up a fight.
are strong. Yeah, if these two people are strong within the Force and they try to fight him and he's like, "Fuck, these two guys are too much for me." Like they're really good. They're very powerful within the Force. They've been they've been connecting with each other. They know how strong they are, whatever. And he would have died or whatever the fuck. I wouldn't have cared. That would have been lit.
I
But
agree.
the fact that it just happened, I was like, I want it to be different. I really do. I wanted you to die, but die differently.
Yes. I agree with you. I agree that, like, you know what? Okay, fine. Like, I guess he's not going to be the main villain after all. But if you're going to kill him, don't give him a flaw at the same time, because he's supposed to be all knowing about, like, this ubiquitous sort of presence over like anyone who's in the room with him. And he dies by Kylo Ren, who's not even sure of who he is. And I like, okay. And then Luis, what do you say to that? What do you have to say for all of this?
I mean,
wait, what happened? Oh, there you go.
Granted that I wish that I had seen Snoke do a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I am kind of like one of those people that say, like, it just shows you how powerful Kylo Ren is, but not to that far as an extent. The way I see it is that, like, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know how to answer to that. I mean, granted, I do want to see him like fight, but at the same time, that's kind of how I said, like, I do want to see how Yoda fights, and then that's how it ended up in the prequels, and I'm like, I was wrong. But
and it's good. There's some people out there that go for the argument as far as that's how it goes to show how powerful he is. That's fine.
Yeah.
Anybody can use that argument. I don't care. But listen, if you're gonna show me how powerful and how dark he is, kill your mom. If you can't do that, you can't do that, I'm sorry. How do you not kill your mom, but then you can kill your master? Do you really? What? Like,
exactly. Look,
that's what I mean about like the coherency here, because watch, check this out. How different would how different would it have been if you would have seen this film the first time and kills Leia and he's like, you know what, fuck this or whatever, and he feels more empowering, same thing that happened with Han or whatever. He even tells Snoke, I killed Han, whatever. It's fine. And then you see him kill Snoke and you're like, oh shit, this guy killed his dad, he killed his mom, and he killed his master. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You send that message a lot more, like a bigger, broader message to the people. And just when I saw him kill Snoke, I was like, well, how did you not kill your mom though? Like,
well, I don't like throughout the movie, Snoke was constantly just like beating down Kylo Ren. Even in the beginning of the movie, before he smashed his helmet, he was like, I thought you weren't like you're obviously not like Vader, And granted, but I mean, I don't know. If you look at Vader, you definitely I don't think Vader either would have killed his mom, because look back at episode 2, Vader is definitely a mama's boy. So very much to Kylo Ren, I don't think he would have killed her.
It's just that now, I don't. How can I put this? Like, I don't. I mean, you know what I mean. I don't. And you see, we go back to the other same thing we were talking about earlier. If you go back to see Vader, you're saying it is a mama's boy. Let's not make it the same. I don't want him to be a mama's boy. I want him to kill his mom. Like, I want him to be different. I want these people to be different. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, is gonna stay in the light? No, she's gonna go to the dark. You think Kylo's not gonna kill his mom, just like Anakin didn't kill his mom either? No. You know what I mean?
Yeah, whoever says that, I think people use the "it's different" card because that's their excuse for not looking the facts of how flawed this movie is. Because look, I'm going to pull another example. There was no traditional lightsaber duel. And if someone were to say, well, that's because this movie is different, I'm going to be like, well,
But it
fuck,
doesn't really
because
necessarily to have a lightsaber
hold up,
duel
hold up,
in
hold up,
order
hold
to
up.
be a Star Wars movie.
Yes, it does, because every single Star Wars movie has a lightsaber duel.
Rogue One did not.
Back to the same reference that Jordan was using about the cake. Look, if for 7 movies, if you're giving for seven movies, if you're giving me chocolate cake for each episode, I'm going to expect the eighth one to be chocolate cake. And if I'm eating it and I'm like, what the fuck? This is like strawberry. You're gonna be like, it's different. You should like it. I'm gonna be like, no.
Well, here's the thing though. Like, I don't necessarily agree to the point where like every Star Wars movie is gonna have has to have a lightsaber battle because you're obviously setting her up like for expectations. Fucking Rogue One didn't have a lightsaber battle.
Rogue One
Episode 2 had semi.
Yes, but it's not technically part of the main storyline.
Using your words, it's a Star Wars movie though. But nonetheless,
yes, but I'm talking about the trilogies.
Wait, but I'm talking about like how like not like if you're wanting something, like if you're wanting something, you're just setting up like you're having this expectation without having like a constant reality.
Well, then how come they gave us a lightsaber battle in episode 7 then?
Because I don't know, because it was
Kylo Ren, which was fucking weird, by the way.
But like, I mean, episode 8, I thought
I liked episode 7.
Was cool.
Like episode 7, like gave everything that the fans wanted. Like
because
such a
like
fan service.
It's like you said. It's like when we first saw it that episode 7 is basically fan service. Even though I would agree that episode 7 is fan service, but done right in a sort of sense. That this one. Not giving the fans what they want, because otherwise, like people, like everyone else, would start saying, "Oh, it's just fan service."
Okay.
Because then
no
one would be happy.
I think a lot of fans saw this movie that were low-key disappointed that there was not a lightsaber duel, but they were willing to suppress their true feelings because they don't want to be that one person that says that this was not a good like Star Wars film. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying that's the case with you.
I think
there's a lot of fans that don't want to say that they really wanted to have a lightsaber duel, but they're just like drinking the Kool-Aid and they're gonna say, no, way. It's like it doesn't have to have a lightsaber. It's like I don't know. I think that secretly deep down, I'm like, dude, you wanted to see a lightsaber duel. Like, don't.
I got a really cool. What I got was a really cool, and yes, I'm gonna use it because it is a fact, a different. In a sense of a lightsaber battle, because number one, I like what George Lucas had described. The Jedi was essentially samurai, and they were in a sense in the original trilogy samurai. So seeing a Jedi fighting like somewhat samurai warriors in my mind was somewhat refreshing because I don't know.
Let me ask you.
It's just because I didn't want to necessarily. What's up?
And you can only answer this with a yes or no question because I don't see a way for anyone to deviate as an answer. Okay, when Luke was confronting Kylo Ren and they both pulled out their lightsabers, did you think this is gonna be the lightsaber duel of the film? Because
yes and no.
Okay, because when I saw the film, I was about to be like, that's it. This is going to be it. This is going to be Luke versus Kylo, and it's going to be the best thing. Like, we're going to see fucking Luke kick ass, and he's going to like be that, he's going to fill that void that has been has not been given to us, from the rest of the film.
I think this lightsaber battle of them versus the Praetorian Guards, I think that when you see it and you're just like, You know what I mean? Like it's cool. Like the
It's cool.
choreography
Don't
is
get me wrong.
fine.
It's badass. That's a badass
I
scene.
I I personally, it gave me like a little bit of vibes back to Anakin versus Obi-Wan, which is what I fucking want somebody in the future to use for lightsaber battles. FYI, um, we're gonna watch another fight: Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan. I mean, Ben Kenobi, fucking, two swings and
Yeah.
stuff like that, or like, or like Force Awakens type of just thrusting forward, and they have training and Ray doesn't have training, and you know what I mean. It's odd, but like when you see them battling the Praetorian Guards, you're just like, okay, this is cool. I sort of thought it was the last one, but then I was like, no, he's gonna be like, no, you know what? I'm a fucking Jedi at heart, the Resistance or the Rebellion in the past, and I'm gonna come out and do some serious shit, do some serious damage or whatever. And I was like, yes, I mean, I was fucking happy. I was like, shit's about to go down. This, and he's gonna tell Kylo and be like, you know what, you, me, 1-on-1 right now. We didn't get to do it in the past, but now it's gonna happen. And I was like, yes.
That's how exactly
I thought. Fuck Cantino Bite. Fuck DJ. Yeah. I'm willing to let it all go for this right now.
I thought exactly the same. I was like, I'm willing to forgive from all of that shit that meaningless, like, save the animals PSA and like what happened to DJ, fuck you don't know. Okay, fine. I'm willing to forgive that if you at least give me a badass fight between Luke and Kylo Ren. That's all I'm gonna say.
And it was, I don't know, dude, like, and then some people go back to the fact that like, you know what, this was a mental thing. It's an emotional thing. He scarred him emotionally. I don't want to see people getting scarred emotionally. I want to see people get scarred in real life. You know what I mean? Like, I want Luke to be like, you're weak, and I'm gonna show you why you're weak, and not kill him, but he could be like, and even if he was an astro appearance or a teleportation, like make it whatever the hell you want to be, even if he was fake, if he would have fought that whole scene, and then at the end Kylo would like thrust at him or whatever and be like, I'm not really here, I would have been like, that's fine, that shit was badass. You know what I mean? Like, it's not so much for the fan service thing, but it's more of the fact that like see it happening and you're like, shit, this is, again, like Carlos says, this is Star Wars. But then again, like Luis says, lightsaber duel in order for it to be Star Wars. But then again, you see Luke pull out his lightsaber and you're like,
it's leading you to believe,
and then
it's giving you expectations.
My whole point.
It's giving you expectations that there's going to be a badass like lightsaber duel.
And it goes back again to like the kick thing.
And that's what I said earlier, that what this movie does is like it gives you expectations and then it goes off in a different direction.
Right. And watch, check, I think one of the things that I had the most problem with, and exceptionally, it's especially lightsaber battles and Jedi and Siths, or the dark side or whatever, because in The Force Awakens we see, obviously, Rey doesn't know how to fight and Kylo obviously doesn't know how to fight. Like, they both suck, you know what I mean? And that would have been fine, but he's like, you know what, I'm gonna finish your training. Fine, that's dope. He's gonna teach him how to, whatever the hell, the next movie. And then you're like, oh shit, so of course now he's gonna teach her and she's gonna know, and then at the end they're both gonna fucking fight and or use their skills that they learned already. And then I heard Rian Johnson say it in an interview that he was like, well, his training was when we saw the shots of Rey. I was like, no, stop. She only did like 4 thrusts and she cut the rock and she stopped.
Yeah.
That is, you see what I mean?
I did notice that from certain moments in the trailer, there are minor things cut or a few things cut from the actual movie. Like in the first trailer, you see, Rey running with her lightsaber. Mm-hmm. I think it was on the island. You don't see that in the movie.
Oh, so you admit that yeah.
And it was weird. What? And then,
no, what were you saying, Jordan?
Oh, I was just saying that it was just odd that in episode 7 they give you sense of oh shit, Rey needs her training, Luke needs her training. You're gonna see them both train. You're gonna see them both become better people. And I wanted to see that happen, but we get to Luke, Force Awakens. You're like, oh fuck, and the way it ends, I don't know about you guys, but I damn near cried, and I was so hyped up for the next fucking movie. Like I was I couldn't wait more for it. I saw him. I was like, he's gonna grab this lightsaber and be like, history with me, so much history with the rebellion, so much history with so many things. And in the fucking new movie, just and
throws it. Like, dude, why?
I
Why
was
do
honestly
that?
like that was so. And then people were like, it's Ryan Johnson's taste of comedy, and I was like, no, what the fuck?
Dude, that's okay. That's gonna lead me to another point.
How
That's
do you
gonna
end
lead me
on
to
such a
another point.
successful on episode 7 that you're just like, fuck, this is Luke's lightsaber.
Yes,
like this is, I mean, Anakin's or whatever, like everything, and then he gets it, and then you're just like, doesn't want to train, and then he's given up, and you're just like, just keep tilting your head like more and more.
And leading me to another point. I think that this movie was trying just a little bit too hard to be a comedy, where it had like its comedic moments were it was bad timing. It had comedic moments when it didn't need to be. For example, the very first scene with Luke, he throws away his lightsaber. Like that was a comedic moment that didn't need to happen. Like, yeah, okay, it's like it's part of the writing. Like he's not accepting his position as a master, so like he's rejecting that side. But I just don't. I just think that it could have been executed, because this movie did not execute its concepts very well.
Look, exactly, and I wouldn't have cared if he would have gotten a lightsaber.
Like, funny where he just throws it. Just have him like think about it. Make your character think
about it, and then be like, oh,
no,
you know what? I don't
accept the lightsaber.
I don't deserve this or something. Like I'm not worthy of the Jedi title anymore. Like I don't find any special purpose.
They don't give like depth to Luke.
It's weird for me because I think that every time we've seen Jedi Masters, Jedi Knights, we've seen so many people, and these things mean so much to them, obviously. And when he receives it, and that is the cliffhanger that it ends up being, making us wait for 2 other years to see what happens as soon as he gets a lightsaber. People were like, wow, well, you didn't expect for him to throw it away, huh? That's the brilliancy of it. I'm like, listen, I don't care if he throws it away. I don't care if he takes shit on it. I don't care if he throws it back to Rey. I don't care what happens to the lightsaber.
What do you do with your lightsabers? Jesus, takes a shit on it.
Like, I don't care what they would have done with it. If a Porg would have grabbed it and flown away, wouldn't have cared. But if he would have looked at it at least a little bit, been like, you know what? I don't deserve this title. I don't deserve this title. I don't. Not ever since whatever happened, you can take this back. I don't need it. You use it or something. I don't even know you.
I will agree or something. With you that whilst I did laugh at that moment, and I agree with Carlo with what he said, that he did that in a sense that like in character wise that he's not ready to become a master again. There's just the timing of like if he had spent a little bit more time, looked at it longer and stuff like that, it probably would have been better executed wise. But I will agree with you on that point.
Yeah, it's just, and it's just odd because you see it and you're just like the first thing where Poe's is being funny with General Hux or whatever. You see it and you're just like, okay, in Force Awakens he was funny. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was, it's exactly. Cool, it's fine. Like yeah, I'll take it, and I laughed and I chuckled and everything. Then I saw the Luke one and I was like, what the fuck? Like you just made like this sort of, that's the exact same face that I made when I saw fucking Rose kissing Finn. I was just like.
So okay,
what?
so then, so here's the problem that I found with Snoke, that it's sort of similar with the whole deal about Rey's parents. So I know how I said a while back how they hyped up Snoke from Force Awakens to make you believe that he was the big bad wolf of the whole trilogy, and then just to completely flush that down the toilet. I think they did the exact same with Rey's background with her parents. In The Force Awakens, they created Force Awakens had great character development on Rey's part, because they created this enigma, this mystery around her character. Like, who is she really? Like, who are her parents? They got everyone thinking. I was like, is it Obi-Wan Kenobi? No, she can't be a Kenobi. Is she a Skywalker? Maybe she could be. No, she can't be a Skywalker. And in this movie, it's like no one. They're no ones. They're nobody. You know, it's like whatever you thought.
dude.
So just
wrong.
just original parents to me like means nothing. Like I liked how they.
Granted, no, I just don't like how they hyped it up, how they created this whole thing in Force Awakens just to like throw it down the toilet in this movie. That's what I didn't like.
Here's the thing. I don't think they hyped it up. Honestly, it was just the entire fandom creating this type of hype.
But it's that expectation that they create in the original movie.
Yeah, but I didn't get that from that sense. The only people who were making hype.
Yes, you did. We talked about who her parents would be.
Yeah, but that wasn't them. It was basically us. You know, like granted, like back with like like in the original trilogy, I'm not the original, but like in all this sense, while it never occurred in our minds that like she could just be in all actuality just an original character, but all this like the hype was just basically created by all the fandom creating all this like fan theories.
No, because
watch. Okay. The only thing that I extent that's as Star Wars fans, you want to know where everything fucking comes from. That's just a fact. Everybody wants to do that. It's even fun to speculate and stuff like that, and I don't care. Like, I make theories about everything. I make theories mostly about fucking video games. I make theories about anything, but it's not I love it. Everybody pulled out of their
ass. That's because it was given to them in Force Awakens.
Yes, and what's really funny is that an interview, which was like a little while back, probably like not a month ago, like a couple weeks ago, and they asked Rian Johnson like, "Oh, what do you think about people bitching pretty much about nobody's?" And he's like, "Oh, well, it's a good twist that not everybody has to come from somewhere." You know what I mean? And she could be of the chosen one, the second chosen one, like Anakin was or whatever, and that's fine. But then a few weeks later after that, people like bitching about it more and more, and they're like, you know what? Why the fuck isn't she nobody? She must have come from somewhere. Whatever. So then eventually the information got around to him again, and he was like, you know what? True intentions. He could be telling the truth, or he could not be telling. I'm like, so you just saw people get mad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what? In episode, and he's like, episode 9 could be full of surprises. It could reveal a lot more things as in regards to Luke and Finn, Poe, and Kylo. I'm just like, funny that he says that, because there's so many people that are just like, well, who the fuck is it, or what the fuck? No, Kylo's lying, and you can see it in his eyes. And some people like trying to read his body language. I'm like, okay, stop. But they're like, he's obviously lying, and he's trying to do all this shit. And Rian Johnson comes eventually to hear that, and he's like, well, that could change. I made it that way, so it could be like full of mystery or whatever. The thing that I was talking about earlier, that these things are just being written as they're going along. Like he's just like, anything can happen after episode 8. Like anything can fucking happen. That's what's weird, because you don't see where Star Wars is going. You know what I mean? Like, you at least want to know it's headed. You know what I mean? Right now, as far as right now, written in stone from episode 8, we know Kylo's the new Supreme Leader. Is obviously more powerful with Force. You can move rocks now, and fucking Holdo did that for a Resistance. They're eventually going to get more firepower because they found a new base, whatever the hell. Everybody rejoiced a little bit more. These guys, the First Order, we don't know what they're going to do. We don't know what are with Rey anymore. We're like, what's going to happen? And in comparison to The Force Awakens, you're just like, oh shit, okay. Luke, he's going to get the lightsaber, he's going to train. Kylo is going to go back for his training, do that, whatever. Then eventually they're going to clash, or they're going to be like, you know what? I'm the master. I'm the big guy. I'm your, and we were like, oh shit, they're going to find out what the Knights of Ren are. They're going to, they're not because of the Knights of Ren in general, but like because of the foreshadowing that they're like, okay, they're going to explain to us how Luke went crazy, batshit crazy, or Kylo went batshit crazy and killed Luke's, like all of the academy and all that stuff. We given all these flashbacks when Rey touches Anakin's lightsaber, and we're given all these things, like all these pieces, all these different things, and you can sort of sense where it's headed to. You're like, okay, this is gonna happen, whatever, and that's fine. I like the element of surprise, but this element of surprise was weird. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm glad. There's a lot of people that are like, I bet you didn't expect to see that, and you're damn right. But did I like it? I don't know about that. You know what I mean? Like,
I will agree. It is weird. It is weird.
I'm all for surprises, but look, if you give me all these ingredients in the Force Awakens, and you're like, you're gonna make a cake out of this,
Yeah.
you end up making a fucking Lego set of Spider-Man Homecoming. You're gonna be like, this has nothing to do with what you told me I was gonna make.
Yeah.
Real quick,
I have a lot of
know what I
thoughts
mean?
on Spider-Man Homecoming also, by the way.
Fuck that movie. Just kidding. But
No, exactly. Fuck that movie.
But what I'm just saying, like, it's just weird, and then people are like, "Oh, just wait till episode 8." Are you? I waited 2 years to see small details on a fucking flashback. He only got like probably 5 minutes or less. I'm gonna wait 2 more years, for it to make sense. And there's been speculations that J.J. Abrams has said that he wants to bring all the Star Wars movies are all gonna be coherent in this movie in episode 9. All of them, from episode 1 to episode 6 and 7. Yeah, so they say that he wants to do that, and that's fine. I'm all for that. You know what I mean? Especially knowing that some of the prequels things were shit. If he's gonna bring some of those things to light and bring them better,
that's
more
a lot of
delicious. It is a lot of stuff. Yeah. But if he's gonna present it in a way better looking thing, I'm all for it. It's weird how just from Force Awakens you come and you have your expectations. Expectations didn't meet my needs and my demands. I'm pissed about it. It's because if you give them to me, I'm expecting for you to give them to me. You know what I mean? Like, especially, dude, express to you how important the fucking flashback from Force Awakens, how important it had to be answered in this movie, how it needed to be happened. And literally, it was a fucking game of cat and mouse, because Luke said something, and Luke said Rey say something, and then Rey told Kylo, oh no, Luke said this, and then he didn't. That's a lie, and this is how it happened. And then he goes back to Luke again, and then Luke's like, oh, that's partially right, but this is how it happened. And it's odd because
it's all over the place.
If they would have presented that scene and be like, look, facts and stone, this is how it fucking happened. This is why Luke is on this island. You're gonna tell me that for all of Force Awakens, a part of Luke just to not find his location because he wanted to go into exile, but he hid it for them to find him if they needed him. They go back to find him and he doesn't want to do anything. Off the fucking table. All of Force Awakens was to find Luke, as he does. He doesn't want to fucking contribute, and it just puts a whole fucking plot on it gives it a big ass break. Train going 100,000 miles an hour, and it gives it a huge ass break, and it's like, hold the fuck up. Luke doesn't want to do any of this. Hold the fuck up. You want to know why Luke why he doesn't want to train Rey, why he's giving up on the Jedi Order, why he's saying the Jedi must end? That's fine. I don't care. To see what made him be that deprived, that depressed, that unwilling, that death that came to his thoughts. I was just like, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck the Force. Fuck the Jedi. Fuck everyone. Like, see that happening. Like, that's what I mean. That's what I meant because of the execution. Like, I didn't care that he was away in the island. He was like, no, I'm not going to train you. I'm not going to train you. I'm not going to train you. I'm done. I'm like, okay, but why are you done?
Exactly. That's the thing.
Tell me, why are you done? I don't care that you're done. I don't give a fuck. You could be done. You could be on your last fucking 3 minutes of dying. I don't care. But why? Like, why are you? When you saw Yoda, you're like, okay, I wonder why he's dead. And you found out that Order 66 and all this, and you went into exile. Okay, cool. It's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's but that was like because of a whole 3 movies, though. Like, I'm agreeing with you, but like with the whole comparison
my whole point of judgments until the third movie is released. If the third movie comes out and a lot of these questions that we're still asking right now are still not answered, I'm gonna have a big ass problem, bitch fit with that. Because if for a whole set up these very important plot points, the only Jedi there is all of the galaxy, of Luke, the biggest grandmaster of all of them, if you can't tell me why out his head and you built it up from the first movie and you still don't give it to me now, that's a fact that it's dead now because unless he comes back as a Force Ghost, we're not going to get any more details on that.
Yeah.
Unless Kylo's like, this is how it happened.
Probably know for a fact he will come back as a Force Ghost.
Yeah, and you know, if it happens that way, but I don't, you know, unless they go like, this is exactly how it happened and shine light back to the flashback from Force Awakens again. You know what I mean? It's sort of gonna start to feel like it's a little bit too much. So like that and you know, we're still left wondering with, you know, Luke is dead now, and he was sad. He wanted to, you know, like fuck the Force, fuck everyone else. Already said he's a Force Ghost, and I'm sure they're not gonna explain too much in the new movie because there's gonna be very little time to explain a lot of shit. I'm just throwing that out there right now. Mark my words. If that movie's 2 hours and 20 minutes, minute is gonna be fucking vital to that movie. There's gonna be so much information. I'm hoping it's not like Batman versus Superman with fucking information.
It'll probably have to be longer than this movie.
I think it will have to be, and I hope it is. You know, I don't mind sitting through a 6-hour Star Wars movie, but then again, you know, it's obviously, you know, things like that won't happen. But like that's all I'm really asking for. Like there's just things that they throw out there, and
well, now that I see that's how the way I'm seeing it now is that we got like a piece of the puzzle with Abrams, and then we got another piece of the puzzle with
which one did you like more?
Which one? I mean, I liked them both, but I liked Last Jedi slightly more because as I told that to Carlo that I liked them both equally, but I think I liked Last Jedi more. But going back on my original point, that I think now that it's going back to Abrams, I think he's technically the only one qualified enough to, or like air quotations, qualified enough to end it, since he's like the one who started the new trilogy in a sense. Mm-hmm. That I probably know that he will bring back all those mentions that he did in Force Awakens, such as the Knights of Ren, which is causing me to believe that probably in Episode 9 that Kylo Ren will call upon them to hunt down Rey.
And I hope that's fucking true, because look, I'm sorry, like this is gonna sound really dumb. All of Star Wars is literally just the big ass fucking novel of the Skywalkers. That's just the fact. The Skywalkers and whoever surrounded by them, whoever fucking meets them.
Yes, it's a whole family drama.
It's a big ass family drama. But what I wanted it to be, or what I wanted to be, is like as soon as I saw Knights of Ren, I was like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? We're not just getting one fucking Vader, we're getting 7, or we're getting, you know what I mean? We're getting these different things and all these. And when I saw concept arts of them and everything, and they all had different blasters and different things, I was like, oh shit, these characters could have some fucking depth. And these characters could be different. And they could all differ from any other Star Wars character in the past. And, you know, there's obviously the more characters, the merrier, the more plots, the merrier, the better. I don't care. But it would have been fucking badass to have them already, like, incorporated, because they get a lot more screen time in Episode 9, because I want them to be, you know, obviously I don't know if he's like Praetorian Guards or whatever the fuck. So like I want them to be there. I want them to be, you know, in depth and stuff like that. But if they would have shown them off in this movie and been like, you know what, if Luke would have sat down with Rey and be like, I had 8 of my most powerful students, this guy's name and little description, this guy's name, little description, this guy's name, little description, we would have at least had, you know, some knowledge or whatever, at least some of the speculation. If it wasn't 100% of the explanation, it was at least 20, and 20 is better than nothing. So just a little bit more. I mean, but I don't blame Johnson, because the movie was pretty long. It does have a lot of stuff in it, but it's I don't know. There's a lot of details that need to be explained in episode 8, and I mean episode 8, episode 9.
I mean,
and
like, I agree with most of the things that you're saying. Totally agree, 100%. But that's what, like, at the end, I'm just saying that, like, we still have one whole movie, whatever, how long it's gonna be. I know the only way that it's gonna have to be a success among us fans is that it's gonna have to be longer than Last Jedi. I'm hoping down into my gut that they are gonna do a callback to Knights of Ren, which is why I'm thinking that, like, that's why they kind of brought back Abrams in a sense. But I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I mean, we still have one whole movie left, the final piece of this trilogy, and we'll see what happens. I mean,
honestly, Johnson's trilogy better not be fucking trash, because I swear to God, dude, honestly, at the same time, I wouldn't mind, because as long as we're getting like those anthology films, I mean, hoping Solo is good.
I don't want Solo. I hate the idea that we're getting a Han Solo movie.
I mean, nobody really asked for that shit, but it's Star Wars, and I'm gonna watch it. That's just a fact.
Oh no, yeah,
like,
it's Star Wars. I'm there day one.
Rogue One was really good. Props for that.
Rogue One was. Rogue One was an okay movie until the third act, and then the fucking epilogue.
I thought it was weird towards the end, but I thought as a Star Wars film and as a filler film, that's why I sort of gave it like its pass. I was like, okay, you know what I mean.
What I want instead of a Han Solo movie is a Kenobi movie.
I mean, I think we all want a Jar Jar Binks. Just kidding.
Jar Jar Binks. Darth Binks.
I think we all want the Kenobi movie. I think we all want the Yoda movie. I don't know.
I heard somewhere that people are asking for a Vader movie.
Yeah, people want a Vader movie to have fill-ins, which are sort of like. But then you see, it would be weird because like there's so much canon. There's so much canon for Vader already, like in Rebels.
Yeah, there you go, Rebels.
They would just pretty much be remaking the show into live action,
basically.
So it would sort of take away from the light. So that's why it was sort of weird. But I don't know. Okay. I can't judge it fully because the last movie hasn't come out. But
what about But just looking at this film alone, was Rose a vital character?
No, I don't think so. What do you think?
The sequence was somewhat vital, but the character alone, not really.
Which sequence?
Dude.
So then how are you giving a 4.5 to a movie while saying that a character didn't really have to be in there?
I'm saying that the character didn't really have to be in there, but the sequence alone.
Exactly. You can't say that a film is excellent yet say, well, you know what? I think this character kind of. But anyway, whatever.
It's just how I feel, dude.
Okay.
It's just how I feel. It's like my own personal opinion.
Yes. Okay. But like, if I were, I would not give a movie like a 4.5. This is why I don't give ratings anymore. But like, I wouldn't look at a movie and say it's excellent, then say, well, but you know what? This character that like plays a big part, she doesn't really play a big part. Like, I don't know. That's what I think. But the other thing.
Well, I gave the rating the first day I saw it. I mean, we all, like, you and I gave fucking La La Land a 5, and then after like a year or a year and a half, we're like, you know what? It's a 4. Like, fucking give me time, Jesus.
So you're saying that you might downgrade this film then?
Who knows? I might. But so far, I really dug it.
I don't know.
After time.
That's what I think. That's the same with all movies.
I see that Rose is not.
That's what I was saying right at the beginning of this this video, was that at first when you come out of the theater fresh, there's that fandom that's clouding your judgment, but then you're kind of thinking about it more, and it's like, you know what, you start to find more flaws in it. But that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Like,
that's how it is with almost anything that has a fandom. Even with the fucking Marvel and DC, it happens every time. Even though personally I'm getting Marvel.
Other thing is, I didn't like how they just left Benicio del Toro's character and like didn't bring him back, but that was okay. Like whatever.
I thought his character was fine. Personally, I thought he was gonna be like another.
Okay, now there's two characters.
Okay, he was just another villain.
I thought his character was but then again, I don't know, because I've watched a lot of like off film, like the shows and stuff, like Clone Wars, or if you look at Rebels, there's so many fucking mercenaries that you see throughout. Everybody sells shit to everybody. Everybody get outsold. It goes pretty much to the highest bidder, whatever the hell you want to do. You know.
So for you, was it kind of like refreshing?
For me, I didn't have like the only reason why I didn't have any fucking problem with it is because some people are like, well, why did Benicio del Toro sell them out? Why did he, And I'm just like, listen, like if mercenaries, Boba Fett, whoever you want, and in fucking episode 5, they came to me first. Like whatever the hell you want it to be, whoever comes, whoever it goes to first, that's just the way it's gonna be. Now, I don't have a problem with the character. I had a problem with what the character did. What I'm, I'll help you guys out. And it was part of a whole subplot. It was a whole part of a whole subplot that was like Canto Bite. I thought it was weird. Like it was weird. It was weird when they were just staring out into the balcony and fucking talking about like and why it's so wrong in the world that they fucking do, and that people sell stuff to the Republic, and people sell stuff to the Resistance, and people sell stuff to the First Order and to the Empire, and that it's always been like that, and all of that. That's okay. I don't care about that. Like we all know that. We all know that everybody's fucking corrupt in the galaxy. Everybody fucking sells everything to everyone. Good guys or the bad guys. If you're in the middle, you're gonna go wherever the wind blows. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Like even Han used to fucking sell shit to the Empire before. He smuggled for Jabba. Jabba was a fucking
it's nothing new. It's nothing new that there's corruption going on in the galaxy.
Exactly. It's nothing new. So I felt like it was very unnecessary for them to bring it up and then be like, look, this is what happens in Star Wars. And I'm like, what the fuck? No, like, your mission, go here, find this person. And whatever, and then when they arrested them and they were in the cell, they were just like, we need to do something. And they were just there, like, they would do. And I'm like, fucking like, at least you could have done is resist the fucking guards or something. I don't know. Like, sequence was odd because then they saved them. They're like, "Hey, we saved you, and you can come and fucking, we'll go and we'll hack the fucking whatever the hell the tracking systems or whatever." And then they get there and then they do it, and then they're like, "Oh, just see Phasma," and then she's like, "I'm gonna be a badass," but then she's like, "Just kidding." And then they're like, "You know what? We're gonna save the Resistance by, pretty much creating this huge ass fucking subplot that." Unsuccessful as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's weird. And some people are out there in the internet saying, well, this movie has a lot of stuff that you wanted to go one way but went the other way. Nothing really worked out for them. The bombers in the beginning, Han trying to bring back Kylo, it didn't happen. The subplot trying to be like, oh, you know what, this is gonna happen, as in like, we're gonna hack it, everybody's gonna get alive, it's gonna be a happy day. It didn't happen. Rey was gonna talk some sense into Kylo and bring him back. It's not gonna happen. There's so many things that you thought were gonna happen but didn't, and that's fine. I don't care. It's just the way it happened. The way it happened was just what was weird to me.
The execution was faulty.
The execution. It's literally all about the execution, dude. Like this movie had so many fucking good ideas. Like I was like, oh fuck, when they go to like this when you see Canto Bite as a big ass scene and this big ass beautiful scenery and all these different monsters and creatures and aliens and and you see like people gambling and shit, you're just okay, it's a Star Wars setting. There's a variety, there's all these different things. But then and at the end where you're just like, okay, it wasn't successful. This was a big part of the movie. Like it set up. I can't really count to you the exact time that it took the whole subplot. But it was lengthy.
That scene was like a while. It was a while.
Lengthy because they would keep coming back to it. The sequences were long. Then they would cut back to Rey and Luke, and the sequences when they cut back to Canto Bight too. And every time they get come back to it, it was just more and more and more and more. And when I thought about it the first time, that Maz was like, "You need to go and find the code breaker," whatever. I was like, "Okay, they're gonna go find him." Whatever happens after, like maybe they could have gotten into trouble over there at the fucking where they at the call it Snoke's ship or whatever when they were trying to hack it or whatever. And they could have gotten into like a different fight or been like a little, if they would have captured them and then have done some like little adventure and trying to get out, that would have been all fine. But then it was weird because it took so long. And the more it took long, the more you were like, where the fuck are those plans? Like, where are those, what are you doing? Like, you're taking a long time. And not just for me, but for the plot wise. Like, at the same time, you think like, oh, fuck. Like, it grabs you by suspense and tells you, oh, fuck, these guys need to hurry up because these guys are going to run out of fuel. And, they're all going to be fucked and everyone's going to be fucked and whatever. And at the end, when it doesn't happen, you're just like, well, what was this for?
Yeah.
What good was this? That's sort of the odd thing that I have to take away from the movie. And I'm not just saying this. There's a lot of people, a lot of reviewers, a lot of people on YouTube have said this in the past. People were like, what was Canto Bight?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Like
what's up?
You're exhausted, huh?
I'm exhausted, and like my mom keeps on like coming in the door, and she's just like, "Are you coming or not?" And I'm like, one more minute.
All right.
Oh shit.
Right, so I guess
we could leave it at that. So
this was fun.
Well,
yeah,
I said everything that needed.
That's good. Glad you guys got it off your chest. You know what? I'm gonna watch it one more time.
Damn man.
A month from I'm gonna watch it one more time. And a month from now, or like a month from or 2 weeks from now, because some of you are like, oh, you need to watch it more than once or twice or whatever. You know what I mean?
It's like, bro,
I personally don't think. Yeah, I personally
it's like no, I do need to watch it more than once, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I can't grasp it by the first time, probably didn't like it. But anyways, I'm gonna watch it another time and do another one of these if my views are different from what they are now, or if more information surfaces to the light. But with that being said, that's pretty much all we got. We're at an hour and 42, so good.
Alrighty, so here's to looking forward to episode 9 then.
Yes, actually, and I'm looking forward to your guys' podcast too, whenever that comes into fruition.
You shall be producing some content when we get back to San Marcos on the 13th.
You wait.
Oh,
be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have like heated debates because because what we're gonna be doing. Well, okay, so what I'm thinking is so our apartment has like a clubhouse and they have like conference rooms. I'm thinking we're gonna record like our podcast in the conference rooms. I don't think we can have like any discussions going on because we're gonna be reviewing the films. Like the films that we're talking about are gonna be reviews, like what we thought about. We're not gonna be like what we're doing now because I think I would be like yelling and then people would be hearing me, like scream. And so same. I don't want to embarrass myself in public, and so I'll embarrass myself like in the privacy of my home, but I will not embarrass myself in real life. Like in a public place.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, hopefully we're bringing the new year. You guys get to do a lot more stuff. There's so much stuff that I want to do like a weekly thing that like I've been doing in the past. But there's some people that can't make it, and then it just ends up not being done. As far as like our tech, but we'll see. Hopefully it gets better, and hopefully we can do more of these things in the future. When Solo comes out, we're definitely gonna have to have.
We'll get back here. We'll be here day one.
Yeah, because even if you're not gonna watch it, I'm gonna force you to buy the fucking ticket for you, and you're gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it. It's a Star Wars movie. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. All right. Well, with that being said, we'll wrap this up, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Bye, Luis.
Bye.
Wait, I swear.
Alright.
Fucking this movie like exhausted me.
Dude, I
¿Qué
can't
pasó?
like I can't fathom my feelings to this
No,
movie
wait.
too
No,
well.
sabes qué? You know what? I know I was making good points, and then like Luis couldn't back up like his arguments, and I was like, "But it's because you know I'm right." But no,
That's
whatever.
so funny. Dude,